What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today I'm every single pick in the NFL draft. So if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, show me some love because I've been working my tail off for this. I even have to go and bolt for a couple-hour car right after this. So I just want to make sure I got in all this content for you guys. It's been a blast doing this for the past 365 days, and you guys have been awesome supporting me on that. We are almost to 8K. Want to get there. Let's get to it. Let's hop right into this because it is going to be a long video. But before we do, if you guys have not seen already, I just dropped a 2024 NFL mock draft. I've been doing a couple of these before the season, and I continue wanting to do them because I want to be ready and not just pull something out of my rear and that is not researched or anything like that. So I put a lot of time into it, did the graphics by hand. So carpal tunnel is going to become my worst enemy, but also my closest friend. We'll see what happens there. Let's continue. Let's get right into this. Let's have a good time. This is broken down by division. You guys know who, if you guys were watching the first 2 days of the breakdowns. I'm going to highlight primarily what is going to happen on day 3 because I've already broken down days 1 and 2 over on other videos. So check those out for more in depth. But the Steelers, my God, we kicked ass. I mean, it couldn't get much better than this, except Ivan Pace Jr. at pick 251. You know, Corey Trice is somebody who we were talking about them as like a third rounder. That's a really good third round pick. Nick Herbig pairing up with his brother. We love to do that. It's awesome. Darnell Washington fell because of some medicals. Okay, who cares? We got to get an awesome player nonetheless. We've got to load up on amazing pieces, great offensive line pieces, great defensive backs. You know, it's just all around a really, really good draft. And my least favorite pick, Spencer Anderson, is honestly going to be a great depth piece. Don't really think that's going to be much of an issue. So great job by Omar Khan having an absolute masterclass of a first year drafting for us Steelers. It's going to be a great time. I love it. Joey Porter Jr. especially. That was my number 2 player in the class. And this is exactly where I wanted to go as a Steelers fan. But continuing into my rivals in the division, we have Zay Flowers, who ended up being the Ravens. Or you talked about that, but I think that larger receiver would have been better for Lamar. But I love Zay nonetheless. Trenton Simpson's a beast. Great steal for you guys. Besides that, you've got some really good offensive linemen. Andrew Voorhees trading back into the draft to get him. Unbelievable value. Probably actually ends up being my favorite pick. But, you know, I don't really have any of these picks that I don't like. All of them were very, very solid picks. And I think that I'm kind of tired of saying that for my in-division rival Ravens, but you guys do an amazing job drafting. I have to give you credit where credit is due. Next, we have the Bengals. Started off hot with Myles Murphy. Had a pretty okay second day. I like DJ Turner. And then Jordan Battle's like, a little bit of a head scratch. But day 3, you got some really, really cool dudes here. Charlie Jones as well as Chase Brown. I think both really good additions to your team. I think they'll definitely make the 53. Andre Yosevas, I mean, dude's a pentathlon athlete, very smart as well. And then the last picks, it is not IV with 2 capitals, so that's on me for that. But overall, a really solid draft, a solid B. That's a really, really good draft. And I hate to say it because I'm a Steelers fan, but you guys did a really good job. Then Cleveland, I actually had them starting out with a C grade for their day 2. Cedric Tillman's fine. Siahika is understandable. I don't like him myself, but you ended up getting DeJuan Jones. Isaiah McGuire, my guy. You little bastards, my guy. And Luke Whippler in there. Cameron Mitchell, DTR. Like, I might have skipped one. I have a weird gut feeling that I did, so feel free to call it out in the comment section below. I know I said a 390 for one of the picks when it was 393, so I apologize about that as well because that just came to my mind. But, you know, overall, you guys kicked ass. Really did. Built up the offensive line and the defensive line. Did it with great value. I can't really complain. This is damn near an A+ draft as well. So good job for the Browns. Yeah, guys had a kick-ass day 3. Getting the guys who were falling who probably shouldn't have. Bears, day 1 was awesome. Day 2 was head-scratching, and you had like it was a roller coaster. It's like, okay. And then, oh, wow. And then, all right. But day 3, you got some really good pieces in here. Just nothing that really wowed me. Roshan Johnson's a really fun one for us, though. So excited to see that. Noah Sewell being able to develop with the linebacker that we have. Going to be awesome. Very excited to see that. B- is still a very admirable grade. Just nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Let's get on to it. Green Bay Packers. Yeah, you see how the formatting was supposed to all be the same. And then teams just had a billion picks. I honestly would probably boost this to a B-. The more I look at it, you know, you got 2 really solid receiving weapons and tight ends, and then you got a good deep threat in Jaden Reed. Lucas Van Ness is a solid edge rusher. I thought that he was much earlier, but within realism, this was where he was supposed to go. I thought the Sean Clifford pick was an absolute joke. Carl Brooks, one of my favorite guys. Don Carrington Valentine is awesome too. You got some good players. I didn't really think any of them were going to wow me, and none of them really did. But the Sean Clifford one rubbed me the wrong way, so I'll change it in my mind to a B minus. Like it's adequate. I just don't really think there's many difference makers on here, except day 2, where you guys were able to hit at least guys like Luke Musgrave. Next, you got the Detroit Lions. Started off, started heating up in day 3, and then didn't do anything on day 4. All right, I heated up round 1, kind of like did all right round 2, and then actually did really well round 2, did all right round 3, and then took a crap on day 3. So it was like, it was really underwhelming because I think this team could have been a Super Bowl competitor very easily if they hit the draft properly, and I just don't believe that they did. It's very unfortunate, but this was my favorite for the Super Bowl if they hit their draft properly. And again, they didn't. Next, we got the Minnesota Vikings. They did a very, very solid job. Jaron Hall's an absolute bum. He's pretty much a worse and smaller version of Kellen Mond. But besides that, you guys got really solid value everywhere. Got some good teammates in there. Got a really good value in Dwayne McBride as well. So good job for you guys. Nothing spectacular, but a very, very, very good draft nonetheless. Jacksonville started off so well, traded back twice, and got Anton Harrison. I love that for you. Then you got Brenton Strange, which was like, Dougie P likes his tight ends. He'll be used properly. And then after that, it was just a lot of letdowns for me personally. I loved Antonio Johnson and Parker Washington, so it was like, then it's like, and then it's back down again. Ended off well with Derek Parrish. I like Derek Parrish a lot. I think he had 5 sacks in a game this past year too, and he transitions to fullback too. He's a kind of like a do-it-all type of dude, and I like that a lot, and I know Dougie P likes that too. Tyler Lacey was the guy who rubbed me the wrong way in the 4th round. I mean, I think that dude's an absolute, he can't even run a 5-second 40-yard dash. I can run a 5-second 40-yard dash. So I just think that as a 280-pound dude, we have guys who are 280 running 4.4s. You have to at least get in 4.8 territory to be considered an NFL athlete of that size, in my opinion, if you are going to be an edge rusher classified at 280. Just rubbed me the wrong way. There was a couple misses in my eyes, and you have a lot of quantity, but I honestly feel it was very limited quantity, and there was a lot that you guys could have done, and that would have just lost my mind at how good of a draft this could have been. So very, very disappointed nonetheless. Colts are just absolutely eaten here. They got my number 29 player in the 7th round. That alone deserves an A grade. But you got Darius Rush, who fell. Evan Hull was one of my favorite running backs. Adebawore, obviously everybody's dream crush at that 282-pound frame at 4.49 speed. Blake Freeland, another really good one. Josh Downs, the steal. Julius Brent's a very solid corner. For me to say Titus Leo is the worst pick, Titus Leo is not even a bad pick. It's ridiculous. That might be the A++ draft. You guys consistently hit on very, very good talent nonetheless. Let's continue on. Texans, I think it was a B+. You guys kind of salvaged your draft because I forgot Tank Dell on my graphic, so I apologize about that. But Juice Scruggs just rubbed me the wrong way as well. Didn't really like that one, but you got one of my top wide receivers in Xavier Hutchinson in the 6th round. You got another Bama linebacker for your Bama linebacker coach with a Bama linebacker in Christian Harris, so instant chemistry there. I think overall it was a very solid draft, and I just don't think these guys are needle movers yet, but I can guarantee you with a draft or 2 more, you have the foundation required to actually be able to compete. It's just really tough in the AFC, and I just don't know if you have what it takes yet to really be a formidable front in the AFC. It's ridiculous how overloaded and how lopsided the AFC has become. Now we got the Tennessee Titans. Colton Dowell, your 7th round pick, was my least favorite pick. Even Jalen Duncan, who I don't like and is actually banned in my Discord, like the saying Jalen Duncan's banned, that is still incredible value. Honestly, great job. Great job by the Titans organization. Still got your top tier quarterback, still got a top tier offensive lineman. Got one of my favorite players in the draft in Josh Wiley. This is going to be, this is exactly what they need to do to not be an absolute bum franchise. And I love it with every fiber within me. Very happy they did not end up moving up to at the number 3 spot, especially. New Orleans Saints, Going, they did a lot this draft. Ended off with A.T. Perry, which was amazing. I did not like the Jordan Howden pick. Jake Haener, it fits perfectly. He kind of reminds me of Drew Brees on his final year, but with more athleticism. I throw just as far as Jake Haener, and there are reps where you do see him trying his hardest to make a 40-yard throw. That scares the living hell out of me. I just don't. I think he's going to be an amazing locker room presence. I love him as a personality and as a leader, and he's going to be a great backup. But, I just don't really think he has NFL quarterback upside. I should have probably put it as a B. I like Kendry Miller. I like Foskey. I like Breezy. Can't really complain. I probably should have put it as a B. So deep down inside, you guys know that's a B draft right there. Very, very solid. Nothing crazy, but very solid nonetheless. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They pulled it out. I was originally like, oh man, like really, you guys could have gotten a QB. Like you guys are purposely tanking, and I think they did. But they got really good value everywhere they took a pick. And I think that I can tip my cap to them on that one. You got Cody Mauch in there, Yaya Diaby, Kalijah Cansey, Payne Durham's good as well, Jose Ramirez. Like very few guys, they hit on like 90% of the dudes they drafted. And I think that these guys will actually, the majority of them, make the roster. So very excited to see that Jose Ramirez, especially. That was one of my favorite ones for sure. Next, we got Atlanta Falcons. I decided not to boost this one up. Their day 3 picks started off with a bang with Clark Phillips, but I can't boost it to anything higher than a C+ because DeMarco Hellams and Jovan Gwynn, I know that they're 7th round picks, but there were guys on the board that were really good. You had Trice on the board. You had Ivan Pace on the board. There are dudes on the board who are really, really good. And I think that you guys just totally missed the ball on this one. Matt Bergeron's going to be used as a guard. That's okay. I don't like that you moved up for him. That's why I did not boost it to probably a B-. Zach Harrison is underwhelming to me, especially since you have Calais Campbell there and you have Bud Dupree. I don't even know what role this dude's going to play. Bijan Robinson's going to be your focal point, and that's the way it is. So love the Clark Phillips pick, though. I just think that this could have been a fireable offense, in my opinion. I just don't really think that you guys maximized your value the way that you should have. And for the Panthers, they had a really, really atrocious day 2, in my opinion. Jonathan Mingo's okay. It was a big reach, in my opinion. But the DJ Johnson, man, that was a really, really bad. But you salvaged it on day 3. Got Chandler Zavala, teammate of Ike Ekwonu. I loved it. Good value as well. You didn't even have to reach for it. I'm not sure if it was pick 145 that Jamie Robinson was, so I apologize about that. It might be a typo, but Jamie Robinson, the 5th, was a great steal as well. You guys got really good value on days 1 and days 3. I love it. Good job for you guys. That's how it balanced out to be a B. DJ Johnson is the reason why it could not be an A, because I think Jonathan Mingo, I would accept it. And if you had a good 3rd round pick, then it would have made sense. So let's continue on here. And New England Patriots next. Look at all these picks. Look at this crap. Christian Gonzalez was an amazing pick. I bet in my final mock, I had them trade back to 17 and get Christian Gonzalez. Happy about that one. That was cool. But Keon White, good pickup. Marte Mapu early. Jake Andrews fit exactly what I would expect from him. I didn't really like a kicker that early. They got a kicker and a new punter. Sidney Sow was pretty cool, or Sidney Sow was really cool. They addressed the interior of the offensive line quite a bit. And then, you got a lot of receivers and cornerback depth. So intriguing to see that you guys kind of focused on skilled position in this. But, overall, another very solid draft. Getting that trade back and getting Christian Gonzalez is really what truly sealed the deal on this not being anything below a B-. So love that for you guys. The Jets, Zach Kuntz, he saved day 3. Israel Abadakanda is very solid. Carter Warren, very solid. Joe Tippmann, nice. Will McDonald. These are very, very good players. And Zaire Barnes, I didn't study him enough. Jarek Bernard Converse is also solid too. You guys did a good draft. Honestly, it was a good draft. Nothing that blew my socks off, but a really good draft. And that's kind of what you needed because you have the explosive, blow your socks off mentality now with Aaron Rodgers there. So now you just kind of are supporting it. And Zach Kuntz, incredible value. Dolphins. I'm being very generous to give it an overall of B-. I love Devon A-Chain. That's why I'm doing it. Cam Smith, we'll see what happens with Xavier Howard. Elijah Higgins and Ryan Hayes were actually my bottom 2 on the big board that I produced for you guys. So very funny to see that one. Next, we got the Buffalo Bills. Dalton Kincaid. Honestly, I already talked about it ad nauseum. you guys just wanted a receiving weapon. I feel like that was great. It's still like, my least favorite pick out of the ones you took. Maybe Alex Austin would be my new least favorite pick. But yeah, Osiris Torrance, Doyer, and Williams, great value at positions of need. Justin Shorter, one of my favorite players in the draft. Y'all know how much I had a love affair with Justin Shorter, and I think he actually very well might take meaningful reps this year. Nick Broker, good athletic interior offensive lineman. Alex Austin, good depth piece. Overall, definitely did a very good job. When people were starting to say, oh, why aren't you guys addressing certain positions? They ended up getting really good value at all their positions of need, essentially. Next, we got the Commanders, the Commies. They did a solid job. They didn't do anything too bad. Chris Rodriguez Jr. was, kind of a shocker. Seemed to be a little bit redundant with what they have already. KJ Henry's pretty fun. You guys are potentially moving on from your edge rushers, so having a good, consistent veteran presence there would be great, and KJ Henry has a lot of reps. Braden Daniels, I think they announced him as an offensive tackle. See about that one. But you guys are certainly addressing the offensive line, which I'm never going to blame. And I don't know enough about Andre Jones. So, you address DBs, offensive line, defensive line. Understandable. So it's nothing that's going to wow me or blow my socks off. Could have been a C+, but I decided to be nice, give it a B-. Now we got the Dallas Cowboys again. Ignore the picture. It is what it is. I think that's perfectly fine. Mozzie Smith was one of my favorite players. He actually was my favorite player until Asim Richards that you guys drafted. Then Deuce Vaughn because his dad is a scout. I thought overall this was really, really underwhelming draft. You guys got 3 guys that I like. 4 technically with DeMarvion Overshown, but big reach on Luke Schoonmaker is going to be 25. And then just overall, not real. There's nothing that made this team a more competitive team. So not a huge fan of that whatsoever. Then Philadelphia Eagles continuing to kick ass. You also got DeAndre Swift, another Georgia player. So Tanner McKee, it's kind of BPA as a depth QB. It's fine. He doesn't really fit what you're looking for, but obviously you got the 3 guys, Keely Ringo, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, to add on to your guys, Jordan Davis, as well as a Nakobe Dean. Very exciting to see that. Sidney Brown, very good player as well. Tyler Steen, up in the air as to whether I'm comfortable with that, but I'm going to trust Stoutland on it. Moro Jomo, really, really good pickup late in the draft. Kind of feels a little bit like what happened with Marlon Tuipulotu years ago. Next, we got the New York Giants. Ended up being with A-. It was my favorite draft days 1 and 2, but day 3 was really underwhelming. Just didn't really think it was all that inspiring. Eric Gray was a good addition. I like that. But overall, you hit it where you needed to, and that's on those big top 3 round positions, and I love it. Good job for you guys. That's definitely worthy of an A. Niners, it's a consistent theme. I love RJ to death, and I know that he's not the decision maker here, but, it's funny that the one office that I'm really familiar with in terms of scouting is the one that I always disagree with. But, I was being generous with this C-. A lot of these picks were not the greatest in the world, but, day 3, they got good value. I feel like they got a bunch of day 3 picks, which essentially those 3rd rounders were kind of day 3. I like Jair Brown. Braden Willis is a guy who I have a big affinity for. He's going to be the future of the Kyle Juszczyk position. It is what it is. It's not awful, but I just haven't seen difference makers being drafted by San Francisco in a hot minute. Now we got the Seahawks. Yeah, was not a big fan of the Zach Charbonnet signing, but it is kind of just a win now. I feel like it's really, really, really redundant with what you have with Kenny Walker. And as a friend of Zach, I would personally say that I'd want to see him get a lot more reps than that. You guys got Olusegun Atimi as well as Anthony Bradford, 2 guys I love and 2 guys I think could start for you. Absolute mauler and an absolute beast when it comes to on the move. So love that for Goon as well as Bradford. Cam Young's a good addition. Jarek Reed's all right. Mike Morris, okay. Kenny McIntosh. I'm just rubbed the wrong way. Could have been a B+, A- draft. Overall, love the fact that you guys also addressed the O-line while you were at it. Then you got the Rams, billion different dudes. But Steve Avila started off right. Kobe Turner, Byron Young started off doing really, really well. Then we got to Stetson Bennett. I was like, all right, well, that's fair. Then Nick Hampton. I'm like, oh, cool. Like that. Then you got Warren McClendon. I'm like, all right, picking it up. Davis Allen, Puka Nacua. I'm like, ooh, you're picking up very good talent. And then THT, I was like, okay. And then O'Shawn Mathis, good depth, nice. Zach Evans, one of my top 100 players in the class. Love that. Ethan Evans, punter. Jason Taylor, it is what it is. And Deshaun Johnson, Mr. Irrelevant. So 7th rounder, okay. 7th round was not the best for you, but you guys kicked ass. That's in crazy, crazy good value. Good job by the Rams, because usually I don't really trust how you guys draft. And you guys did a good job this year. Good job, Los Angeles. Arizona Cardinals started off with a really, really amazing days 1 and 2. Probably the winners of days 1 and 2 with Paris Johnson, BJ Ojolari, Garrett Williams, and Michael Wilson, and a future first-round pick from the Texans. Then you got John Gaines, solid. Clayton Tune, consistent backup. Owen Papo, very athletic. Kentrell Clark, cool. And then Dante Stills. I thought it was all a really, really good draft. Just nothing after day 2 that, really surprised me or made me too excited for the team. Then you got Kansas City Chiefs going FAU, local dude. Rashee Rice, Juju replacement. Wanya Morris, probably going to potentially start at right tackle. Then you got Chamari Connor, nice defensive back there for you. BJ Thompson, a little bit underwhelming as an edge rusher. And then a beast in Keandre Coburn. Overall, I just think that this draft, you got good players. Just nothing surprised me. Again, that's why I'm giving it a B-. It's a very solid draft. It's just nothing that's wowing me. I feel a little let down, hoping that, I was maybe we're going to get a dynamic receiver here for the Chiefs. And Roz fits a role that's open, and it worked. But besides that, I was still looking for guys like Tyler Scott to potentially be nabbed up and taken for him. Then we got the Chargers. Started off well. Quentin Johnston, Thule, and Diane, very good players. Then you got Darius Davis, pairing up those TCU receivers, pretty intriguing. Jordan McFadden is going to be a solid depth lineman. Scott Matlock, good pick. And then Max Thuggin pairing up with his 2 wide receivers from college. I like that part. That was one of my favorite things. Might be my new favorite pick, is the Thuggin himself pairing up with his buddies. So it was kind of cool. It was cool seeing that little reunion. Raiders started off hot. Tyree Wilson, Michael Mayer, loved it. Byron Young was a big letdown, still is. Jacorian Bennett was all right. A little bit early for me. Loved Aiden O'Connell, top 100 player on my board. Christopher Smith, another top 150 player for me. Amari Burney, it is what it is. Nesta Jade Silvera, forgot to say it's an interior defensive lineman. Really, really good player. He was a top 170 player on my board. I was a big fan of him. Overall, good job. Good job. Not used to saying that for the Raiders, but very good job. Then, ending it off, the Denver Broncos. Sorry to end it on a low note, but, Marvin Mims, he's going to be a replacement for what you already have. Drew Sanders, solid. Really good pick, actually. Riley Moss, underwhelming as a safety pick in the 3rd round. JL Skinner, we don't know what role he's going to play. That's why I put defense there. And then Alex Forsyth, who I have a much higher vertical than he does. And just like him, you can see I can't jump, but I think that it was just a very, very underwhelming draft for a team that, in my opinion, kind of needed some more spark and didn't get any of it. So that is going to be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me as always. It is time to start the new draft season. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are too. See you guys on the far side. Peace.